Hi, I'm Heidi with Onigo Stamping. Welcome to my craft corner. I have an awesome fun fold card today to share with you that is just bursting with excitement. You're going to want to hang around all the way to the end of the video so you can see how this fun fold comes together and how it opens to surprise the person you're giving the card to. If you have any questions about card making or paper crafting, or maybe you'd like to attend an online class or hang out with me over on Facebook or one of my other social media channels, I'd absolutely love that. Just go ahead and follow one of the links in the description to this video to send me an email, come to my Facebook group, join my newsletter, or check out my website. On my website, you're also going to find the dimensions for today's cards and more still photos of the card examples. So if you liked today's video, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. All right, Oni go, let's get stamping. Today's fun and interactive fun fold card uses the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set. I love this stamp set. It has six beautiful butterflies on it, and we're gonna stamp with the stamp set, and then we're gonna cut it out using the Brilliant Wings dies. So that's really fun too. It's gonna be great to work with. In addition, I'm going to grab some greetings from the Well Said stamp set. Now this stamp set is being retired at the end of April. So it is an awesome stamp set that has tons and tons of greetings. It also has matching dies that have cursive words that go with it. So I definitely recommend it, and you should grab it before it is gone because it is a great one. All right, I'm going to set these aside and let's get started with our project. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set, and we are going to stamp these butterflies. For this, I'm going to use my Stamparatus. Now, you can see I've already stamped some butterflies. I'm just going to go ahead and reuse this piece of paper because it's not that dirty. For this, we don't need the foam mat that comes with the Stamparatus. I'm just putting the piece of grid paper in here. And the grid paper does come separately from the Stamparatus, but it's really great. It comes on a whole pad, just like the regular grid paper, and it fits perfectly in the Stamparatus, and I love it because there's grid lines that you can use. So I have a piece of basic white cardstock that is something like 5.5 by 6, not sure exactly. And I'm just going to line this up straight on the lines, just because if I have to stamp twice, I want to know where to put it right back where it goes. Now you will notice my Butterfly Brilliance stamp set box is filled with butterflies because when I have extras that I don't need, I throw them in there, and sometimes I use them and sometimes I don't. The Butterfly Brilliance stamp set, I say set, but really it's just a stamp. It's one big stamp with 6 butterflies. You will notice I have cut off one of my butterflies. I do not recommend cutting all these butterflies apart, all of them, because I think you would have a hard time getting them back in the right place to use the dies with them. But just cutting one off has not caused a problem for me. And that way I kind of just picked one that I liked, and it makes a nice single butterfly when I need it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just lay these butterflies on here, and then I'm gonna grab this one that I sliced off the edge, and all I'm going to do is just wiggle it back into place right where it goes. Just going to line up where I snipped, and you see I just cut straight lines. I did not cut close to the rubber because I wanted to make sure I knew exactly the spot that needed to go back into. So this is sticky side up, and I'm just going to close the door to my Stamparatus and pick up my stamps. And now we'll slide this over just a little bit. I'm going to ink this up with some Tuxedo Black Memento ink because I'm going to use Stampin' Blends on this. And with the Stampin' Blends, you need to use Memento ink. Very, very important to remember that with Stampin' Blends markers, you need to use Memento ink, not Stays On. So it's kind of one of the things you cannot do with Stays On ink. I'm just getting those nice and inky. Make sure my paper is straight. And then I will just take this window and close it and give it a good kind of smoosh. Some nice even pressure all over. And we'll pull that off, and there you can see the 6 beautiful butterflies that I have right there. I'm going to set my Stamparatus aside, and I'm going to work on coloring these butterflies. When I did these butterflies, I really just picked a variety of bright colors. So this one, this is my dark So Saffron, and I think I'm just going to color that kind of in here. And for each butterfly, I just chose like 2-3 colors and combine them. That's it, just 2-3 colors for each one. So I'm just starting with the dark So Saffron and coloring over here. This side. And then I'm gonna grab the light Mango Melody, I think. Ooh, throw it across. The Mango Melody, if you like Mango Melody, the Mango Melody blends are going away. So grab those before they're gone. And they are on sale just a little bit too right now. So if you just think you might like Mango Melody blends, I would grab them. All right, now I'm gonna grab the dark Mango Melody. I'm gonna add that in a little bit. And you can just see I'm just going from light to dark, kind of giving it all a little bit of color. Overlapping a little bit and just kind of pulling those different colors together. Now I'm gonna grab the dark Pumpkin Pie and just add a little bit of dark pumpkin pie right in the center. So there we go. And now, you notice I left the very outside blank. I'm gonna come in with my light Melon Mambo, and I'm just gonna color the outsides pink, which is a little odd, right? This is not normal butterfly colors. But when you see the colors to this card, this is really gonna bring in the Mango Melody and the Magenta Madness that I'm using on the card. I didn't have a Magenta Madness Stampin' Blend, so I just grabbed the Melon Mambo, and that one seems to match well enough. So I'm just coloring the very edges of the wings with this one, just to add a little bit of pink. A little bit of pink to the outside. All right, and then I just need to color the butterfly's body, which I always forget. I'm gonna grab the dark Crumb Cake and just color in my butterfly body. So there is one butterfly. I would go through and do this with all of it, and I did all different colors. Let me show you. I'm gonna pull in one I already did. Through the Magic Television. Here is one that we already have ready to go. And you can see I really just did all different colors. This one is Purple Posy and Highland Heather. We have some more Mango Melody that I did. This is just light and dark Calypso Coral, Pool Party, and then the light Misty Moonlight, some Granny Apple Green with a little bit of Bermuda Bay on the outside. So I just looked at the Stampin' Blends that I had, and I just pulled out ones that were nice and bright. And like I said, I used 2-3 colors, sometimes just the light and dark of one color, to just kind of make some different butterflies, all different kinds. So they do not have to be, you know, like real butterflies, whatevs. So now I'm gonna grab my Brilliant Wings dies. And when you open these up, you notice there are these detail butterflies, which are gorgeous. I've used those on other cards. And then there's these ones that cut the 6 butterflies all at once. So I'm gonna grab those. I'm gonna grab my Big Shot platform. Now remember to keep your plates nice and flat. What I always do is I always check and see if it has a little bit of wiggle in the middle there, then I flip it over. I want this to be not to be bumped up. So mine's nice and flat, but you'll notice, you know, each time you use it, it does kind of bend one way or the other. So if you grab the one and make sure it's down, you know, so down towards the center, it works better. I also always make sure, usually when I'm cutting things, that I'm cutting as much as I can all the way to the outside, because that will help keep your cutting plates from warping as much too. So flipping them over and cutting all the way to the edges, not just in the middle, will really, really help your plates from getting warped. I've never had a problem with my plates warping. They've always been in really good condition. So I'll just put that right on top. And then I always use the same plate on the cutting and the same plate for the top. So I ran that through my Big Shot. Now I'll just take off the top plate and pull off my die. It just wants to stick in there. And you can see I now have 6 different butterflies, and we're going to use these all on the card. So I'm just going to pull these off and set them aside. And then we get to the fun part of putting this card together. Let me show you what it looks like. Show you how the magic happens, because there is some serious magic going down in this card. So actually, we're going to start with the card front. I have a piece of Mango Melody cardstock. It is 4 1/4 by 11 inches. Just going to fold this in half, and I think here's my bone folder, and give it a nice crease. Then I have some of the Artistry Blooms Designer Series paper, and I just have a strip that is 2 inches by 5.5 inches. And of course, you know that all of these cutting dimensions will be available on my website, so you can grab the link in the description to this video and hop over there and grab them. Don't have to write them down during the video. All right, so there's the Artistry Blooms Designer Series paper. I'm just going to put this over here on the side. And now I have a circle that I cut with the Stitched Shapes dies. These two are being retired, being discontinued at the end of April. So I use the biggest circle in the Stitched Shape dies to cut a Magenta Madness circle. I'll just pop this on here. I want to grab my largest butterfly, which is this one right here. He's going to go right on the front. What I want to do though is I want to make his wings kind of pop up. So I'm going to grab my Stampin' Dimensionals and put a Stampin' Dimensional on each wing, kind of towards the outside, just like that. I am going to grab my Take Your Pick tool, if I can find it here, and just pull those backs off. I love to use the Take Your Pick tool for this because it kind of corrals all those Stampin' Dimensional backs in one spot. So once that's off, then I'm going to take my liquid adhesive, and I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid adhesive just where the body of the butterfly is. Now, I can take this and line it up where I want, and I will hold down the center, and then the edges will pop up. So the center will be glued flat to the pink, to the Magenta Madness circle, and the wings are popped up on those Stampin' Dimensionals. So it just helps it kind of look like it is flying off the page. All right, almost done with the front. I have You and Make Me Smile from the Well Said stamp set that I showed you earlier. I'm just gonna ink this up with that Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And I'm just stamping this on some basic white cardstock. It doesn't matter if they're quite straight, because what we're gonna do is we're going to actually trim these out. So I have my paper snips, and I'm just gonna trim this close to the sentiment. Just like this, and try to get it straight at that point. And I'm actually gonna trim apart the Make Me and the Smile, and then the You is separate as well. So just trimming each of these out and push aside the extras. And then what I'm gonna do is just glue these right to my card front. But don't go anywhere, because the magic of this card actually happens on the inside. This is just the outside. This is just, you know, fluff to get you excited about opening it. I'm just gonna tap off some of that excess glue with a little piece of sponge, just so it doesn't pop out the edges. So I have You, pull off some of this glue too, and then Make Me, and then I have the Smile. So there is the outside of my card. on this last little piece. Isn't that fun? Oh, it's just so bright and festive. I love the Mango Melody with the Magenta Madness. All right, so there's the outside of the card. Let me set this aside while we put together the inside. For the inside of the card, I have started with a piece of Magenta Madness, and this is 8.5 by 10 3/4. Now, on the 8.5 side, on this side, I scored it at 2 1/4, 4 1/4, and 6 1/4. And then on the 10 3/4 side, I scored it at 4 1/4, 5 3/8, and 6 1/2. Okay, so you can see there are some lines on there. What I want to do is I want to cut out these corner rectangles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper snips and I'm going to cut as straight as I can down this long score line for this outside rectangle. You could also pop this in your paper trimmer and do it with that. Now on this side, actually, you know what? I'm going to switch over to my full-size scissors. I like when I'm trying to make long cuts, I find it's easier with these. Now these you can do at a slight angle. Just angle in to that corner, okay? So over here, maybe you're gonna be able to see this a little bit better. I'm gonna angle in to this corner, and now on the long side, I'm gonna cut as straight as I can right along that score line. And I'm gonna do this on all 4 corners. All right, I have cut out all 4 corners, and now we're gonna do some folding. So what I have, you'll notice there's a score line right in the middle here, and there's a score line right in the middle here. What I wanna do is I wanna take this corner right here and line it up right, it's gonna end up falling about right here. You want this straight line to kind of come right over top of this straight line, and you want it to fold right here on the center. What you can do, sometimes it will help, is to set your bone folder in the center there, because this is definitely the hard part of this card. Trying to get this through that center and see how those 2 fold lines, those 2 score lines just kind of overlap right on top of each other. And we'll give this a good crease. When I open this up, you notice that this fold is not on that corner, and that's why this is such a tricky fold. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go for this center score line down to this center score line, passing again by the center, and the second one is usually a little bit easier. So I'll just give that a nice fold as well. And there you have, and those folds really end up quite not so nice looking, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold this down on the top. Get this ready to fold. And now, this is actually, and these are actually gonna go in, so I'm gonna fold it this way too. And this, you can see these are going to kind of smush in and come together, and hopefully if we did this right, this is going to line right up. Okay, and we're going to have a nice corner down over here. Not too bad. This is kind of the hard part. A lot of times it doesn't quite line up. It's kind of a little bit messy. So there we have that. Now let's do the decoration on the inside, because that's kind of like, well, what am I doing with that? You have another strip that is, or I have another strip that is 2.5 by 10 inches. I have scored it at 2.5, 5, and 7.5. I am going to fold it like a W, give it a good crease with my bone folder. So it's like that, it's like a W. And I'm gonna lay this piece flat in front of me. This piece is gonna go on top of it, and what I want is I want my score lines to line up. One big, long, happy score line there. what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna fold this up. Now you can see right now this is kind of towards the top. I actually want this to be kind of centered. So I'm just gonna move this up a little bit. I'm gonna use my grid lines to help me center this up. So I'm moving that up. I can check over here. Yep, that looks pretty good too. This is lined up in the center. And now I'm gonna glue this down. For this one, I just wanna put glue right up here on the top half. You can see where I put it, right over here. This would be a great time to use your Stampin' Seal Plus. I am out of Stampin' Seal Plus. I ran out the other day, so I had meant to use it for this project and I ran out and I haven't gotten more yet. So it's on order, it's coming, but I'm just gonna have to hold that for just a minute. Now on this side, on the left side, you wanna glue right down here in the bottom. So the right's on the top, the left is on the bottom. And we'll just add a little bit of glue right there. And then I will fold that down and we'll let those dry. Now to decorate this, I have 4 pieces of Mango Melody cardstock, and it is all 2 1/4 inches by 2 1/4 inches. We're gonna glue one of these to each of the squares on our W. So here's the first one. They should fit right in those squares with a nice border. Do number 2. I'm gonna hold this up. Sometimes it's a little bit easier if you hold your liquid adhesive. If you hold your piece of paper up in the air when you're putting on the liquid adhesive, you don't get quite as much on there sometimes. I find sometimes the liquid adhesive has kind of a mind of its own. Either wants to give you a little or a lot. So, all right, here's the third one. These are such bright colors. So much beauty for spring. Fun spring card. Oops, that wiggled on me, didn't it? When I wasn't looking, and now it wants to be stuck. Let's give it just a... Oh, I'm gonna peel it back up just a little bit. All right, come on. Sometimes you gotta talk to your paper and tell it what it needs to do. There we go. So now we'll do the fourth one. And this is gonna go right over here. And then we're gonna bring our butterflies back in, right? Because we have, remember all those gorgeous butterflies we made? We need those back. All right, so let's figure out where we wanna put these. And I think I don't actually even need all of them. Well, no, I do. All right, so, and we are gonna have to trim the ones on the outside. So I am putting the biggest ones on the outside so I can kind of trim those a little bit. There's our butterflies. And we'll just add a little bit of liquid adhesive here. You know, I would love to add some dimensionals on this, but if I put dimensionals on, it would make it too puffy, and you'll see when we go to close the card, it wouldn't close. It would be really, really too thick. So it's already kind of a thick card. So I'm not going to use dimensionals. I'm just going to glue these right down. If the glue will come out. Oh. Too much, I tell you, not enough or too much. I should put the top on and put it upside down, but I just want to keep going. I just want to keep going. That's all I want to do. All right, let's put this one up here. Too much glue again. All right, put the top on, put it upside down, spread out the glue with my sponge. So I like to keep a sponge here, and I just have that on a binder clip to help hold it. I'm just kind of making these every which way, just kind of flying around. here is my last one. I'm going to take my snips and I'm just going to flip this over and snip off the edges of my wings that are hanging off the edge. All right, now let's see where the magic comes in. So this should be kind of dry by now. What we're going to do is we take this, and this is actually going to fold and close back up. Just like that. All right, woo! And then we can glue it to our card base. So we'll open up our card base. I'm gonna take the bottom and put a little adhesive on this. And again, this would be a great place for the Stampin' Seal Plus. So we'll just take this. I'm going to slide this in here. I'm wondering if my card base was too wide. Oh, I must have made my pink too skinny. All right. Because normally it's over a little bit more, so I'm not really sure. Not really sure what I did. And then we'll add a little bit of adhesive up here. Oops, too much. Tap off some of that. And then I just close this up so that that top adheres right where it needs to go. And we'll just let that dry just a little bit. I do have another piece of white cardstock, and this is 3 3/4 by 3 inch. And I'm just going to add this to the inside. Just to give myself a spot to write on. Now I have a feeling this is not going to line up because, like I said, I think I got off on my measurements. I think maybe my pink is 4 inches instead of being, I don't know what I did. I am not sure. I did something though. Yeah, so normally this white would have kind of a border. It's not going to go that way. It would have a border on the sides, but I definitely measured my pink wrong. So you'll see, if you go to my website and see the photos there, you're going to see what this white would actually should look like on the inside. But you get the idea. This goes right down here, just like that. That way you have a space to write. And there you have those beautiful butterflies. Isn't that a fun card? Close it up, give it to somebody, right? It will kind of stand up. Okay. And then, you know, and this will fit in a regular envelope. And then when they open it, they have those beautiful butterflies that pop out, ready to fly away. Such a fun fold card, interactive card, right? Kind of pops up. Thank you so much for joining me today. Wasn't that an awesome fun fold card? I just love how it pops open and you see all those gorgeous butterflies that you've made. If you liked today's video, make sure that you like, subscribe, share it with a friend, and then come on back and see me for more tips, techniques, and inspiration. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.